You're deep in the rainforest. The air is hot. The trees are still, and every step sinks softly into wet leaves and mud. At first, everything feels normal. Then you notice something strange. A long drag mark across the ground, a cluster of broken branches, a shape in the shadows that should not be there. You stop. For a second, the jungle goes completely quiet. Then you turn and see it. A giant python. Massive, silent, coiled just a few feet away. Its body is thick like a fallen log. Its head is low. Its eyes are locked on you. It does not hiss. It does not roar. It does not need to. Because if it strikes now, you may only have seconds before that body is wrapped around you. What do you do to survive? In today's video, we're going to break down how dangerous a giant python really is, how it attacks when people are most at risk, and what you need to do if you ever come face to face with one. Because a python does not kill the way most predators do. It does not chase you down with claws. It does not tear you apart with fangs. And it does not need venom to be deadly. Instead, it uses one of the most terrifying weapons in the animal world: pure muscle. It grabs, it coils, and then it squeezes. If you do not understand how that attack works, you could make the wrong move in the first few seconds. And those first few seconds may be the only chance you get. Part 1. Why it is so dangerous. A giant python is one of the most dangerous ambush predators in its environment. Not because it is loud, not because it looks aggressive all the time, but because it is built to overpower prey with speed, silence, and crushing strength. It is dangerous because of its incredible muscle power, its camouflage, and most of all, its ability to control the fight the moment it makes contact. That is what makes a giant python so terrifying. A big snake like this does not need to win a long battle. It only needs one clean strike. Once it bites and gets part of its body around you, the entire situation changes. Its teeth are designed to grip. Its body is designed to wrap. And every second after that becomes a fight to stop the next coil from locking into place. The other reason it is so dangerous is how easy it can be to miss. A giant python can blend into wet leaves, roots, dark water, tall grass, and dense brush. Its pattern breaks up the outline of its body so well that it may look like part of the ground until it moves, and by the time it moves, it may already be too close. That is the real horror of an encounter like this. The biggest danger is not just how strong the animal is. It is how suddenly that strength can appear right next to you. Part 2. How it attacks. When a giant python attacks, it usually happens very fast. First, it waits. A python is an ambush hunter. It prefers to stay hidden and let the target come to it. It may lie near a game trail, beside shallow water, under thick vegetation, or in shadows where its body is hard to distinguish from the surroundings. It stays still, patient, almost invisible. Then it strikes. The head launches forward with explosive speed. The jaws open wide, and the python bites to secure a hold. Those teeth are sharp and curved backward, which makes it much harder to pull away once the bite lands. And finally, it coils. This is the most dangerous phase of the entire attack. The python uses the rest of its body to throw loops around the prey. Once one coil locks in, it quickly adds more, and with every wrap, escape becomes harder. Then the squeezing starts. The goal is not to crush bones dramatically like in the movies. The goal is control. Control of your body. Control of your breathing. Control of the fight. If the coils tighten around the chest, each breath becomes harder to take. If they lock your arms, fighting back becomes more difficult. If you lose balance and hit the ground, the snake gains even more advantage. And the terrifying part is how quickly this can unfold. What looks like a still animal 1 second can become a full attack the next. That speed is one of the biggest reasons python encounters become so deadly. People do not get much time to think. And when fear takes over, mistakes happen fast. Part 3. When humans are most at risk. A giant python does not always attack humans intentionally, but there are certain situations where the risk becomes much higher. The first is when people move through dense vegetation without paying attention to the ground, nearby brush, or low branches. The second is when people go near swamps, riverbanks, jungle trails, or places where large animals pass through regularly. And the third is when someone accidentally surprises the snake at close range. That close-range surprise is one of the most dangerous situations of all, because if a python feels cornered, threatened, or suddenly presented with a target only a few feet away, the reaction can happen almost instantly. The risk also goes up when someone is alone. If a giant python manages to grab you and nobody is there to help, your chances drop fast. Another dangerous situation is curiosity. People often make bad decisions around wild animals because the animal is still. They assume stillness means safety. They think they have time for a better look. A photo. One more step forward. That is a serious mistake with a python. If you move too close to a snake that has not fully committed yet, you may be giving it exactly the distance it needs. The most dangerous situation is when you do not realize you are already inside its strike zone until it is too late. That is when panic takes over. That is when people jump backward without looking. Trip, fall, turn the wrong way, or freeze completely. And in a python encounter, those first bad seconds can decide everything. Part 4. Deadly mistakes and how to survive. In an encounter like this, survival is not about bravery. It is about making the correct decision during the most terrifying moments of your life. The first deadly mistake is getting too close. If you see a giant python and move toward it, you're shrinking the only thing that keeps you safe. Distance. The second deadly mistake is losing your footing. A python becomes much more dangerous once you are on the ground. If you slip, stumble, or fall during the encounter, it becomes easier for the snake to wrap your legs, torso, or upper body. And the most dangerous mistake of all is allowing the snake to secure a coil around your chest or neck without immediate resistance. That is when the situation becomes critical very fast. So what should you do if the python has not noticed you yet? Back away slowly and quietly. Do not approach it. Do not try to scare it just to prove a point. Do not throw yourself into a close encounter you could have avoided. Keep your eyes on the snake. Move carefully, and create as much distance as possible. Your goal is not to challenge it. Your goal is to leave safely. If it has already seen you, stay facing it. Do not blindly turn your back and sprint through thick terrain if the snake is close. If you crash into brush or lose your footing, you may make the situation worse. Instead, begin backing away in a controlled way. Keep space between you and the head. Use any object you have, a backpack, jacket, stick, or tool, as a barrier if needed. The head matters most. Where the head can reach, the strike can happen. If it starts moving toward you. Now the danger is rising. Continue creating distance. Stay balanced. Watch the ground. Do not let panic rush you into a fall. If you have something long in your hands, use it to help keep the snake farther from your body. At this stage, the mission is simple. Do not let it make contact. If it launches a real attack. The moment contact happens, you must react immediately. Protect your neck. protect your chest. And fight to prevent the snake from getting a full wrap around your torso. If it bites, panic pulling straight backward may not solve the problem fast enough. Its teeth are built to hold. Instead, your priority is stopping the coils from locking in. Use both hands. Push against the body. Keep it away from your upper chest and throat as much as possible. Stay on your feet if there is any way to do so. If other people are with you, they need to help immediately. Not by standing there screaming. Not by hesitating. Immediately. The longer the python wraps, the harder it becomes to reverse the situation. The most dangerous moments are the first few seconds after the strike. That is when stopping the wrap matters most. Why understanding the attack matters. If the snake is acting defensively because it was stepped on, cornered, or surprised, creating distance and disengaging may be the smartest move. But if it has fully committed to a predatory-style grab and wrap, hesitation becomes far more dangerous. That is why using the wrong response at the wrong time can make the situation worse. Backing off too slowly from a committed attack can be fatal. Escalating a defensive encounter can also be fatal. Survival depends on reading what is happening quickly and reacting before the snake gains full control. Part 5. How to avoid the attack in the first place. The best way to survive a giant python attack is to avoid the encounter before it becomes one. To reduce your risk, always watch where you step in dense vegetation, stay alert near rivers, swamps, jungle edges, and animal trails. Avoid approaching large snakes out of curiosity, and never assume a still snake is a safe snake. If you are in python territory, moving with another person is safer than moving alone. A second person can make a huge difference in an emergency. Use a flashlight at night. Check the ground and low vegetation ahead of you. Be careful around fallen logs, dark water, overgrown trails, and places with poor visibility. And most importantly, respect distance. A lot of dangerous wildlife encounters happen because people choose to get closer than they should. With a giant python, that decision can become irreversible very quickly. These precautions will not guarantee safety every time, but they can greatly reduce the chance of ending up in the kind of close-range ambush that turns deadly in seconds. Ending. To survive a giant python, you do not need to be stronger than it, because you will not be. What you need is to understand it better. Understand how it hides. Understand how fast it strikes. Understand how dangerous the first coil can become. And understand that in an encounter like this, the worst mistake is often not made during the attack. It is made before it. The moment you stop paying attention, the moment you step too close, the moment you mistake silence for safety, because a giant python does not need noise to be deadly. It only needs one opening. And sometimes, survival is decided the instant you realize you were already within reach. Subscribe for more animated survival videos. Next video. What if you were attacked by a Komodo dragon?